Welcome back to Slipstream. What a fabulous time to be around as well. Open qualifiers. Well, tomorrow the close will be certainly more interesting. Why not a qualification match to get us into the mood? Last series beforehand, since the start, was swept comfortably 3-0 with a thrashing scoreline in game one. Continued onwards. Well, we sadly have to leave them behind, and we left Victor behind in the match before. So a new face. And why not have a better one in the form of Mutz? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good in yourself, Danny. At Sunset Sloopers did a good job there, and of course now we've got another best of 5 to look forward to. Morekats versus Top Chokes. What you thinking?
Well, championship match in terms of the two rosters, not necessarily Vortex material, but I've been proven wrong slightly earlier today, so a bit unsure in the form of how this one's going to go. Best of 5, probably going to go the distance if they're both even in terms of division, but who knows at this point in time.
Yeah, and I think, two teams that obviously would like to qualify for tomorrow's closed qualifiers. Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard fought. Someone needs to make it through. Is best of 5, so like you said, will go the distance. Let's hope it's going to go the distance. And maybe Top Chokes shouldn't live up to their name, and they must not choke in this series.
Well, let's hope so, because frankly, we saw in the last series, choking was part of the exercise for one team. Couldn't score empty nets, couldn't score, well, basically anything under 5 goals per game. You might as well just not bother, but be blunt about it. It wasn't a strong enough performance. Or, of course, the Vortex roster, of course, ECC accommodates all divisions, and rightly so, where they are placed is probably the best experience they'll have. Will that demonstrate this series? We'll find out shortly enough, as teams are slowly getting in. But any predictions yourself?
No, I think just excited to see what's going to happen. I don't think I'm going to be able to predict. Of course, we saw a lot of action in the last season of the ECC. Now with open quals, maybe it's anyone's game. So I think I want to be pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised. Well, best of 5 usually always throws something in the works as well. One player in particular that seems to be ringing a certain bell here, Pacey. Actually, a former coach at 1.2 a long time ago. Not anymore. Seems to be looking for himself on the field as a player, with a difference to a certain extent as well. Can he translate the certain skills and qualities as Moment there gets that ball away?
Yeah, nothing too crazy from both these teams just yet. Obviously, just half a minute only elapsed in Danny, and like you said, we're going to see what happens. Does the experience of a coach, translate into actual mechanical playing skill? We're going to have to see. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game.
That sounds good. Possibly we'll see all the evidence of it. One of the most slowest pace we've seen so far in terms of openings. The last series was explosive, but the scoreline certainly was one directional as this ball sort of being floated into the middle. Decent performance here, just crawls around sort of the wall and moves that one central, loses the back third line to launch down clear.
Ikar Samu Levito to push it all the way into the corner there, and just no kind of overly aggressive play coming up from either of these teams. No one really kind of stamping their authority on the offensive play. It's just very back and forth right now. You can see just kind of the ping pong match, finds the goalie, gets back, punted midfield. Yeah, clinical save there from Levito. Pretty easy to do.
It's
quiet, like Danny. Quiet for a game one, that's for sure.
Well, you can't beat a bit of quietness in part of the series. You can't expect everything to be sort of a gasket blue in sort of the first game. If that's the case, it's usually something going desperately wrong for one side here, but might as well mention it because one team has called himself, well, quite obviously, sort of an imitation of Top Blokes, and one of the logos is a poor MS Paint job as well. Is it sort of cheap imagery or just a massive fan?
Yeah, we're gonna see. Maybe, Top Chokes, they're fanboying, they're simping. They've got a pro team that they do like in the fact of Top Blokes. They've also got quite a crude paint, profile picture up on the socials. So, we're going to see what happens. But it's going to be on mid 13. No, no, mid 13. Pops it down for Morekats Gaming. First goal in, about almost half the match.
Well, they're certainly imitating top blokes. This will be a simple 3-0 sweep. If their coach Rams was playing, they didn't really pick up much bar one game win when playing something like 6-7 game series in total, and most of them were in the grid, but we'll save all the pro stuff for later. Of course, half time gone by, and we did say it was a slow match. We did say there hasn't been much goals yet. We've got our first one at least on the board. Hopefully many more to come here, as this pass and play very much ground based. We haven't even seen a strong aerial presence.
No. Everyone kind of kept on the ground. Nothing too in the air, no kind of just crazy mechanical play coming up from these teams, keeping it pretty tame. You know, when you kind of pass platinum, diamond, and everyone's up in the air, then suddenly when you get off the champ, then everyone's back on the ground again. It's very weird.
Due to the range and skill level that we have on display here, and the closed qualifiers actually being tomorrow as well. Had a brief look in terms of it. Damage Inc. actually back into it, but not the roster that some may be expecting to an extent has changed a bit. It was actually TT Wilbar at one point when it was in Slipstream, so few old faces here. Anybody in particular that you're looking out for it?
On the field, yeah, just in general.
Let's go in general. Let's have a wide scope here for a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, scrimming a lot of the teams and watching like the Slipstream kind of scrim channel, you know, you can see a lot of the Chuchos coming out, you know, the Curzes. We've got new sign-ins as well when you look at like Insanity. You know, we've got Astro Allegiance as well, you know, with some decent sign-ins. There's Snicks moving over to that team. So, you know, I like to watch Vortex, I like to watch Championship, very good games. I'm mid-13 with the second goal. So yeah, I think a lot to look forward to when it comes to the whole season of the ECC, because of course it is quite long in demand, and of course kind of 4th division all the way up to the Vortex. You know, so a lot of Rocket League to watch, a lot of kind of some are fringe players, some are just playing for fun. You know, I'm sure we got all the way from your 1100s up to 1700 skill players. So a lot to come out. Hopefully a couple of names, you know, coming out from last season. When you mentioned Kurz, Imishawana, those boys, oh, close there. You know, your Chuchos and everyone like that. So let's see what happens.
Let's see, as you mentioned, some of the regular names as well. We saw Percy and Didi, actually some of the most old school names you can get around in this Discord actually playing, and you can't even get older to an extent in the form of Faded actually playing in this very qualifier too. I haven't actually seen the full team name. At one point used to play with Sniper Kid, let's just say a player that I had very much experience with a long time ago, when sadly I don't have the results. Talk very favourable about myself, as this one should end 2-0 and 1-0 favouring the side in blue here, the Massa Cap Gaming roster. So not necessarily what we expected here. It was slow, methodical, and yet it felt almost too slow to be true.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's open quals, so of course those that are going to get through to the closed qualifiers, of course. The pace, it should get picked up a little bit. Like you said, kind of not as much gas, I think, as we wanted, and you mentioned the lack of aerial plays as well. So no one up in the air, no one really kind of burning down the field. And of course, it was only 2-0 there at the end of the day, of course, you know, the 8 shots coming out from Morekats. So let's see what happens with the rest of the series. I don't think you really have to do too much to get through open quals. That's why there are open qualifiers. I think tomorrow, same time when we look at those closed quals, I think we're going to get a lot more action on the field. So, you know, people are going to take their dubs where they can, Danny, and, you know, if they're easy dubs, maybe that's fine, you know. The best are going to get through, and this is kind of the weeding out process, so.
I have to agree with you on that one. The open qualifier, it's exactly sort of that open pit that you just don't expect. Roughly with that sort of closed qualifier we mentioned on earlier as well, to some invited teams. That's the way I sort of look at it. Some strong field there. We haven't seen anybody right today. We only had, of course, this match and the one beforehand on stream. Not standing out lots of quality. Of course, could be some gems in the rough that we have yet to discover here, unless Paishi and Co here would like to show us why they are maybe contenders to get into that stage. Game 2 on the Forbidden Temple. Will there be a secret finally revealed?
We're gonna have to see about that. I think top chokes, they need to bring it in. Is it gonna be an open net? Oh, and Levito keeping that one out. So already Orange taking the first shot, and like you said, will there be any secrets coming out of the chambers here? We're gonna have to find out. Alpro pushing this ball already into the corner here, and Morekats seem to have a bit of control. Yeah. Oh, no second man coming in for that shot down the center. So yeah, like you said, it's not as kind of there's no blistering pace that you would expect from the normal Vortex play. But of course, as the season does get started, then of course, you know, the Vortex and the Champions League is gonna have a lot of action, and you know, these teams just kind of have to find their way, you know, to get there. This is kind of that gladiators arena, and you know, you got to see who comes out the victor.
True as well, and well, that's to be stated as well too. It is a new season. There might be maybe a few rust on a few arches here as that ball just floats on in again. We talked about the chamber secrets, the fact like, well, that's one, is it Leviosa? And this type of performance.
I love that kind of just under the carriage play there coming up from Alpro. Such a nice little touch there. Bottom of the car, found the nose. And yeah, that puts Morekats up by 1. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful goal that, yeah, is it Leviosa? Well, he's definitely knows what the correct combination is. Oh, very close there from top chokes, almost the photo getting it in. Ooh, extremely close there. Ikasami, can he get the second touch? Can he bring it down with the dunk? Oh, kept out. Very, very close there. Top chokes just trying to find this equalizer, but alas, not able to get past this Morekats defense.
That's a bit unfortunate, but I prefer the way you said it, so it sounds much more better, to be truthfully honest. But 2 minutes, we will see. Hopefully the gameplay as well being much more better than we saw beforehand, and it's certainly shown with that sort of floating shots earlier. Sam moves him down beforehand, and a lot of if, buts and maybes yet to be fully put to bed here.
Yeah, big pinch into midfield, but usually that's just almost a passing play more for your opponents than it is for your own teammates when they get this kind of awkward tied ball, big plays like that. So anyway, Lefota not really finding anyone he needed to. Now Alpro pushing that ball, trying to find a second. Mid 13 as well, doing so well in the previous game, picking up the 2 goals for Morekats. Alpro, can he get down the dunk? And Levito has that shot in. Ikasami trying to keep it out with the lateral play. Awkward touch on the top there. Can it get Lefota? Can it bring it down? Oh, crossbar, and that 4th man back, so to speak, keeps them out.
Hasn't been kept out for long here, and had a brief look as well there. Got to feel sympathetic to the Top Chokes fans here at the moment. They've been cheering. Sadly, their team hasn't given them anything to reciprocate with.
Yeah, no, the chat is going absolutely wild with Top Chokes. They're doing, at least from the supporter side, a lot of work. But on the field here, you know, we've got the only a dismal 84 coming out for Ikasami, so he needs to get a little bit more car to ball. Oh, Lefota with the redirect. Oh, so close there. Would have been a beautiful goal. Kept out by Morekats, and now it's going to be Alpro pushing at center. Kruxu. Alpro again from the corner. Gets over Lefota. Can he beat past 1? It's going to be Ikasami now. Finally breaks the triple digits. Oh, meet up in the mid. Can he beat that 50? Levito. Very close here, but I mean, this is Morekats gaming kind of with a decent control of this whole entire game. Up by 2. No stress. They get the demos. Second man. Oh, keeps it out. Alpro doing a hell of a lot of work. 3-15 so far, 2 saves, 1 shot, 1 goal. Who was the coach you said, Danny?
You call it Alpro. I know him as Paishi back in the day.
Okay.
As you can tell, not necessarily mechanically flashy, but he's certainly long enough as well too. And trying to remember, I believe it was Esports Berg back in the day when he used to coach, when me and him used to have rivalries when Stormtroopers with a thing in the day. Sadly, that team has disbanded into further pieces, but that has been the case. Actually hasn't played too bad so far.
Oh!
As I said that.
Yeah, And that's going to be now ECC9 maybe just kind of finding a way to redeem himself as he was a little low down on the scoreboard, but finds himself a goal. Looks like a bit of a last touch there coming up from Levito, and of course Paisi. Well, you know, like you said, not maybe too mechanically flashy, but definitely solid in all the fundamentals when you look at his scoreboard and how well he's been doing, but of course wasn't able to save that goal as it did kind of get pipped over his head. But still, you know, definitely kind of maybe not so much carrying his team, but I can only imagine what the in-game comms must be like, you know. Very kind of solid, good call-outs. You know, I can imagine, you know, rotations are pretty sweet. He's telling everyone what to do and where they can be. Pinch on the wall. Oh, on minute 13. Is it going all the way? Oh, beautiful, saved it from the photo. And big pinch kind of all the way downfield. But again, this is Morekats Gaming, up by 1 with only 10 seconds left on the clock. They are more than likely going to be able to close out this game. One last play, down. And Morekats Gaming, second game victory to them, so that's 2-0.
2-0. Sounds so simple as well. 2-0, 2-1. The game scores in their individual forms as well too. And I was sort of hoping it didn't happen, to be fair. I would love to say it was a perfect sweep at this point here. And well, we're talking about performance. Well, I can't even call them tops or chokes at the moment here, to be truthfully honest with you. That requires them to be in the lead at the moment at some stage. They have yet to do it. So maybe top good fellow, perhaps, at the time being.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, they had a good try. They tried to get the 7 shots on, and only ECC9 got the 1 goal. You know, trying to, you know, found himself being the lowest on the team and then ended up being the highest with the 266. You know, so definitely top chokes. Hopefully, you know, that name isn't almost a bit of a burden to them, keeping them down. But so far in this series, yeah, Morekats Gaming having a stellar time. They only had to shoot 3 times. And that was really all that was required. You know, the defense on the side of top chokes are not really up to scratch at the moment.
Simple evaluation. Will we see anything of an improvement? Well, that would require 2 goals and a game win on the board. That sounds so simple when we put it this way. Of course, Vortex Open qualifiers coming to a natural conclusion today, close tomorrow. We will see the likes of Damage Inc. trying to return back into the league itself. 6 spots near enough, basically wide and open, 10 teams in total. And I liked when you had little Womans or 2-1Q far away. There were some fabulous teams, but 15 seconds have gone by and they haven't conceded, so marginal improvement so far.
Yeah. And you're talking about Faded earlier as well. You know, it's great to work with Faded. He's got a good attitude, and you know, it's definitely going to be pretty cool to see what he can do on the field. I think he played a little bit, very close to ECC9. Played a little bit last season, Faded. He got in on the action. And yeah, all those names you mentioned. Little Whammons, Auglis, definitely a lot to look forward to. Game 3 here, Morekats Gaming. You know, they can close this out. Obviously, this is their series point. And Pop chokes, well, you know, they have to be able to grab victory from the jaws of defeat right now.
Although we see a few shots being fired in at that point, as where the task at hand really is just to score. The mentality, realistically, if you were coaching, is 1 game at a time, really 1 goal. We haven't seen enough here. Sam will have a quick shot. It will be crossbarring away at this point in time. Right now, the team with the coach right now, the side in blue, certainly hasn't felt the much control they had in 2 games beforehand, as this one's just been moved away once more. Sam seems to be having the biggest influence so far, but yet the goal to back it up yet.
Oh, almost a big shot on there by Omid 13. Oh, nice long one. Is it going to be hit the crossbar? It will indeed. That's unfortunate for our pro coach. Kept out by the immovable object, and that's not going to be Morekats Gaming picking up the lead once again. Alpro trying again. Kept out by the photo. It's going to be Kruxu going out wide. And yeah, this almost reminds me a little bit of game 1 between both of these teams, where it just wasn't really all exciting. A lot of back and forth play. No one really taking the lead, trying to get attack and pressure put on. You know, everyone's just kind of plain, very standard Rocket League back and forth. There it goes again. Can they get the dunk? Kruxu, second touch, third man. Is it going to be Sam? Nah, kept out.
I think Candy being the opens were paramount to that statement. They haven't been able to show anything, and for the first time, Top Chokes actually leads by a goal. I'm stunned to say it as everybody else is. Their fans, however, will be elated to see.
Oh, and what a beautiful goal they're coming out as well. Another kind of upside down, just, you know, get the body to the goal. Second time we've seen that this evening. So, you know, it's the open qualifiers, but of course, you know, teams, you know, if they can put in a flashy goal or try something not too conventional, you know, why the hell not? You know, they might not make it through further than this, so you may as well kind of just do what you can. And of course, they Lafote with a beautiful goal. And like I said, Top Chokes actually leading for once. This is already game number 3, so, you know, good for them. And now Sam going up. Doesn't have anything in the tank though. Levito to push it out. Oh, mid-13. Oh, block there from Kruxu over Lafote. Omit. Midfield. Levito. Oh, would have been a great shot on. I mean, it was great. Of course, just that crossbar again. Keeping them out, that ball had to be kept down.
This crossbar's really ruined the game. Shall we just get rid of it?
How do we get hold of... I mean, yes. You know, Psionics. How do we get hold of developers? What do we do?
I don't know, maybe we just at them on Twitter, who knows. But speaking about ats right now, Top Chokes living up to their names at the moment. They concede another one, I suppose, well, bottom Chokes at this point here, because they don't have any chance to get back up to the top.
I mean, of course we can get the reverse sweep, you know, coming out from them. It's never impossible. It is a long series, best of 5, so why not? Oh, Sam keeping it out. Beautiful save. Now Levito, L-Pro, trying to get it out. Sam, from his own corner, does have 2 defenders back here in case of a quick counter attack. Oh, maybe this is it. Oh, shot on. Very close there. Kept out by Kruxu. Lafote. Oh. And I mean, it's not for a lack of trying from the side of Top Chokes. You know, they really are getting some decent shots on. But it's just, yeah, difficult to break through this defense of Morekats.
I'd agree with you on that one, and usually in football or soccer, depending on what side of the pond that people are from, sort of the verbal 12th man being the fan, Twitch chat really is being that for Top Chokes right now. So it's a shame. They really have let their side down at the moment. So another one gets fired right in with 21 seconds at the moment. I think the UK P45 will be sent to 3 players in particular.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful bump and demo there on that last man defender in the box, and of course just allows Levito to get it in, and that's going to be Morekats once again taking the lead. Nothing too surprising coming up from them. Yeah, but you know what? Seeing stuff like that, bumps and demos in the box and getting out those lost defenders is kind of the name of the game and what you have to do. Beautiful play there. Oh, and now almost Top Chokes trying to get up the quick equalizer. Only 5 seconds left on the clock, and Morekats, all they have to do is be able to kill this ball. Is it going to be on mid-13? Stam to keep it up, but it's on his half. The coach on mid-13. It may just die. Oh, long shot, they coming up from Sam, and unfortunately that's going to be Top Chokes to kill that ball. And there is going to be game 3, and the series going the way of Morekats Gaming.
Well, that's the way how it goes. 6-2 on aggregate on the goals count, 3-0 series-wise, so it didn't matter what sort of statistics you use for Top Chokes, they weren't good enough for today as well. And as the Vortex Qualifiers does reach on as well, Valor and Game Kings themselves, the fabulous sponsors here, of course, here at Slipstream, will be enjoying to see the performance so far going to the closed qualifiers tomorrow. But any sort of thoughts on how today's outcomes have been so far?
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good. You know, we saw Sloopers earlier, nice, huge 3-0 there as well, and of course the 3-0 coming in from Morekats Gaming as well. So, you know, 2 teams that we can look out for tomorrow when it comes to Sunday close qualifiers, Danny boy. Yeah, definitely a lot to look out for. They've faded in chat. Hello, faded. We did give you a nice name drop earlier, but talking about name drops, of course, we've got our sponsors, Valor and Game King. They will be making this new season of the ECC possible.